This is going to be a longer read, but this entire situation has been agonizingly traumatic. If even just one person can read my story, I'd greatly appreciate it. My wife and I started dating in July of 2016 after knowing each other for about a month. When I met her, she never dressed feminine or had interest in getting her nails or hair done. She grew up with parents who were more focused on raising her brothers. Essentially, they treated her like she was another son, neglecting her needs as a woman. She had to learn about most womanly things on her own, like how to deal with a period, how to set boundaries with boys, that kind of stuff. When I met her, I could tell she had no idea how beautiful she was inside and out. The way she communicated spoke to my heart, and I fell for her pretty hard. I built her confidence up from nothing, bought her feminine clothes, flowers, jewelry. I showed her how a man treats his woman. Through 8 years, we had many ups and downs, but always rebounded and had very healthy ways of dealing with conflict. In 2020, I popped the question, and in 2022, we had a beautiful wedding with all our closest friends and family present. After we got married, our relationship got even stronger. I kept on showing her through gifts, acts of service, and effort that she was my girl, the only person I wanted or loved. She started having problems with closeness and intimacy. Something inside her felt awkward or strange touching me, so she slowed down, and I felt that pull away. We went to couples counseling in 2023 to try and work on it, and unfortunately didn't get much out of it. Her and I found a way to fix the issue on our own and had the best relationship from 2023 to July of 2024. A 6-figure job opened up at her job in 2024, and I pushed her to pursue it even though she wasn't qualified. She didn't believe in herself, but I did. She interviewed and got the job, but it meant she'd have to go off to Colorado for a month to do schooling. No big deal, our relationship was stronger than ever, so I was excited for her. She came home in August of 2024, but she didn't really come home mentally. She was pushing me away, dismissive of my efforts and feelings, talking and messaging her boss every single night for hours while drinking. I told her it made me uncomfortable, but she persisted. Eventually, it popped off. During a barbecue, him and her got extremely drunk and made out. He put his hands in her pants all while no one was around. Later that night, she tried putting her hands in his pants under some blankets. After I found out, I was furious and demanded answers. Both were drinking, but that was in no way an excuse. I was told that they weren't allowed to talk anymore and threatened to beat the guy into the dirt. They kept talking, and I was finding traces of messages, open doors to each other's social medias. The fighting from this caused so much anger that I left our state to give her the space she wanted from me. After a week, she told me that she really wanted me to come home and try to fix issues. When I did come home, I bought roses, champagne, candles, and got the entire house cleaned up. She came home to all that love and effort. We had sex, talked, things seemed fine. A couple days later, I noticed how much she was talking to a female coworker, and I started asking questions. Turns out the guy made a fake Snapchat, and they were both pretending it was her coworker so they could keep talking. We talked about divorce many times through this, but never got to that barrier. We started couples counseling to start try and healing our issues. I missed out on spending Halloween with her, my favorite holiday, because she sent me away, but I was hopeful for Thanksgiving. She had to work on the actual day, but had Black Friday off. I was preparing to do a mini Thanksgiving for us. She miraculously got called into work, and that was pretty much it. I noticed her location was far from work, and I realized I'd been conned. She was out on a date with him, so I got in my car and followed. I couldn't catch up to them because her location was pinging from different areas. I finally found their destination. A huge Christmas festival with lights, music, food. I was horrified. It should be me here with her, not some random guy she met just months ago. I looked for them but couldn't find them. I realized if I did find them, I'd be going to jail, because if I got my hands on him, I was going to kill him. I went home. I called her out and told her I knew. She came home and we were certain about a divorce. She told me this story about how her coworkers saw her at the gas station and invited her, that there was a bunch of other people there. I believed her because I wanted it to be true. We went to Hawaii the next week because we had tickets we had purchased way earlier in the year. We figured distance might help. First night out there, she got angry at me because another woman picked up on me. For the first time in our relationship, she got physical. She punched me in the eye, the jaw, and the chest about 6 times before I had to push her back. When I did, she accused me of hitting her. Second night, she got into another huge fight because the girl happened to be at the same bar as us and she wanted to leave to avoid a fight. I didn't have any issues with that. She was uncomfortable, so we left, but when we got home, I still got blamed her anger. I told her about the irony of the situation, me respecting her choice, but she didn't want to hear it. We were able to salvage the rest of the vacation and actually had a great time. We came home and continued our couples counseling. Things have been overall fine, but I felt like the truth was being held. We had an appointment last Friday and the truth came out. She had sex with him when I left to give her space, and she was in love with him. The whole date after Thanksgiving with coworkers was a lie. It was just him and her doing couple stuff. Now somehow she's back to wanting me and only me. I'm so hurt, I'm confused. I wish I could escape my mind in reality. This situation almost drove me to suicide 3 times. She was my girl. The love of my life. Now she's touching me and kissing me, but it all feels false and wrong. I was in this relationship for 1.5 years. We've been living together for 1 year, with many future plans and a strong commitment, at least on my part. I truly saw myself with this person for the long term. We've had ups and downs during the relationship, mostly due to communication problems, which we were trying to improve, and lies I had caught him in but which he assured me would never happen again. The case is that one weekend, he went to another city for a commitment. He was sending me messages saying he missed me and wished I was there with him. He left on a Friday and had his return flight scheduled for Sunday. However, he came back on Tuesday, telling me he wanted to spend a couple of days with his parents because they weren't doing well emotionally. When he returned on Tuesday night, I felt something, call it a gut feeling or intuition, but I didn't have a good vibe. I asked him about his weekend, we had dinner, and then went to bed. I was feeling uneasy, but even so, when we woke up in the morning, he hugged me and showed affection before getting up and heading to the shower. While he was in the bathroom, I looked at his phone. I felt awful doing it, but I had a strong intuition he was hiding something about his weekend. What I found almost gave me a heart attack. I discovered calls to brothels on Friday, the day he left, and on Saturday at 2:30 in the morning. I also saw that he withdrew cash from an ATM before going to these brothels. At 10:45 on Friday, he messaged me saying he was at the hotel, already in bed, super tired, and wishing me good night. But at 10:50, he was at an ATM withdrawing cash before going to see a prostitute. In addition to having sex with 2 different prostitutes on Friday and Saturday, on Tuesday, the day he flew back, he asked for the phone number of the woman sitting next to him on the plane, apparently to boost his self-esteem. He's the kind of person who, on the surface, appears perfect, super polite, kind, with an impeccable image, the type of person who goes around saying how much they respect women. He once told me something that stuck in my mind, that he would never cheat on me because his father cheated on his mother, and it destroyed his life. He said his father isn't a good person, and I believed him. In that sense, I was always at peace that he wouldn't cheat on me. Let's dive into my story of how I'm working on letting go of the past. It all began in college. I was out with my brother one day, my ex-romantic fling, and 2 of her friends. Saturday night in Dallas. My amazing girlfriend was at her friend's house. She knew this night was coming. I told her that my brother Ben invited some friends to Dallas. She was cool with that. Who's coming? Well, I told her it happened to be someone I used to have a thing with back in Chicago. Red flags. She was in her head the whole week before it happened. I knew she would be. It was stressful. I was frustrated with my bro, but at the same time, it would be fun to see familiar faces. Fast forward, and we are sitting at the restaurant, all 5 of us. Ben is stressing out because he can't afford the meal. We all got spicy margaritas, a couple of appetizers, and main courses. I remember being so frustrated I was there and not with my girlfriend that I went out to call her. I remember her face, so beautiful and smiley, and just appreciating that she was talking to me. I felt bad, I felt sad, I felt mad. I was at the restaurant and not with her, but I couldn't leave my brother hanging with this huge check and all these girls. Back in the restaurant, my margarita is non-existent at this point. They all want to do something fun but don't know where to go. I kept saying I had to go to bed. Oh, that's okay. We can figure out something to do. But I didn't want to leave them hanging to dry. I wanted to show them I knew my city. So we all went back to my apartment and hung out, doing some yoga and just vibing. I was having fun and thinking it was cool. Then they wanted to go swimming back at their hotel. I got excited. Swimming with a couple of girls? Yes. Now we are at the pool, and I'm having a great time. We are playing chicken, and I'm touching one of the girls directly behind her. I knew it was bad, but it felt so good. I remember walking in the hallway with her, picking her up, and twirling her around. I love being around girls. They are so fun and so cute and feel so nice. And this wasn't even the ex-fling I had, it was her friend. Anyway, we went up to their hotel room, and I was drunk at this point. It was all chill, a couple of people in the bed, just hanging. The one girl who was playing with me decided to go into the bathroom. I followed her. The next part was kind of a blur, kind of traumatic. I remember seeing her take off her panties and changing. I saw her vagina, I didn't care. I walked in, and I believe she had her top off, or didn't. I don't know if my brain wants to remember. All I remember is that my brain said no, and then a split second goes by, and I go in for a hug behind her. I whispered the words, "If I didn't have a girlfriend, it would be you." I remember she said, "Jack, SHHHH," or something like that. It was kind of like, "Hey, you've got a girlfriend, do better." I remember she turned around and looked at me almost like she was ready to kiss me. That was when I woke up. I remember walking out of that bathroom feeling bizarre. What have I just done? Why the heck would I do that? I remember my ex-fling looking at me like, "Yeah, right, you have a girlfriend, look what you've just done." I said goodbye, and I'm in the Uber. I just remember thinking, why did I do that? The alcohol was helping to subdue the emotions I was feeling. I was so annoyed at myself. This situation could have been so easily avoided. When they said let's go out, I could have said no. So many things led me to that situation that could have all been avoided. I went to bed confused and ashamed. But when I woke up the next morning, it felt alright. I felt like I didn't cheat. I didn't kiss the girl, I didn't bang her or finger her or any of that stuff. What is cheating? Do you feel like I cheated? I don't know. I mean, I definitely rubbed up against her in the pool, and it felt nice. If my girlfriend saw me do that, she definitely would not like it. If I saw her do that with a guy, I would have drowned the guy right at the pool. So what am I to think? The next 2 years, I would think about this. There was one point I didn't think about it for a year, and then one day while sitting on my couch in a totally different apartment, I felt I had a need to tell my girlfriend. I remember going up to her and saying, "You remember that night I had with those girls and my ex-fling and my brother?" Well, I hugged one of them weird. I remember the confusion surrounding the hug was a huge topic. How did I hug her, and why? Did I do anything else with her? I didn't mention the pool or the twirling or the fact that I may or may not have touched her breasts, but what I did just felt so shameful I had to tell her something. That was the first time we talked about it. The last time we discussed it, we ended up crying together, talking about how much we loved each other, and I thanked her for the best 5 years of my life. Now it's been 2 months since then, and I realized letting go of this scene in my past took everything in me. I tried visualization techniques, tantric breathwork, praying, but the one thing that definitely helped was the concept of morality. We are all going to die one day. It's best to forgive yourself now and not regret beating yourself up about it. What also motivates me is that I never kissed any other girl or did anything really sexual. Nothing to make me feel like I emotionally cheated. I did touch that girl inappropriately, and I own that, but I feel proud I've been loyal at least from my own perspective. What do you guys think? Did I cheat? Am I still a good person? Haha. It's all up to God now. I feel good writing this. This happened for a reason, and I am more loyal than ever before. Maybe it did happen for a reason. Anyway, cheers.